I've never been naturally talented at filmmaking. But for those of you that are, congratulations. That's why I go out and create little projects for myself. Whether it's a music video or short film, I do them specifically just so I can practice filmmaking. You are not gonna get better just waiting around to shoot your next client project. I'm recording.
Somebody's here to see you.
Who? I heard some rumors about you from a friend. I didn't think they were real, and I only made the film about you to try to improve my filmmaking skills. I was just about to talk about lighting and... That's nothing. My daughter and I was working something out. I realized that it was a mistake to make that short film about you without your permission. But listen, can I please just explain how I use projects like this to help develop my filmmaking skills? Thank you. One of the most valuable exercises for visual storytelling is creating scenes with no dialogue. So what'd you think of that opening scene? It's just one clap. Just one clap.
Bro, go away.
On projects like this, I like to practice mastering exposure, and then I also like trying my best to create visually captivating compositions.
Why don't you just leave me alone? So what, you looking for Glenn? Hey! Hey, did you at least disinfect them chains on that back? Oh!
There are so many tools on your camera that you can use to get perfect exposure. Personally, I like to enable two settings on my camera. The first tool I use is the Lumix spot meter, so I can see where my highlights and shadows are falling exposure-wise in the form of stops. More about the spot meter in a second. I also utilize zebras with the base range setting. I prefer this setting because zebras will only appear on the part of the image with perfect exposure, which for me is set to 0. Okay, if you don't mind, now let's go back to the Lumix spot meter. This is very helpful when monitoring your highlights and shadows. I always use the V-Log profile, so I want my shadows to be above -8 stops, and I want my highlights to be below +6.3 stops, so I will still have information in the brightest areas of my shot. I can move the spot meter around the screen to check to make sure everything is perfect. And if it's not, I can adjust my ND filter, aperture, or ISO as needed. Any questions? I don't. Are you asking me how he got away? Yeah, he ran away because you were too busy celebrating. The rumors I heard said that you like to celebrate after you use your baseball bat. That was my favorite mug. All right, well, let's talk about composition. Different lenses mean different approaches to composition. When experimenting with new lenses, I try to practice a few things. I want to get shots at different apertures to test out sharpness. And lastly, I want to play with different compositions. Following the rule of thirds will give you so much confidence in your shot selection. By placing key elements strategically along the grid lines, I aim to guide the audience's focus in each scene. I also use the lens diopter for different scenes in the film so I can get extreme close-ups, as the normal minimal focal distance with this lens is 3 feet. Alright, but just know you're missing out on some good composition tips. Okay, you do your whiplash thing and I'll give some more tips. When specifically making a short film for practice, I like to keep the dialogue short and sweet.
Nah, man, you don't have to work to get me.
I don't want to focus on actors getting their lines right. I want to focus on my shots.
All right, relax. I don't want you to mess up that suit, all right?
I even keep the story short and sweet to help the audience latch on. Having a simple story lets me focus on my shots. I first saw the location we filmed at the day of the shoot, so I had to visualize every shot I wanted at home and then be able to bring it to life once we got on set.
That's what this is about? $50?
I don't think this is said enough, but understand your camera.
That's an easy fix. You got Venmo? Bump pay?
If you are a master of your camera settings, then you are a master of everything you put on screen.
And tell my mama she overreacted. Again. I was gonna pay her back next week.
And that's the film I made about you without your permission. That's the book. You do use the book. You never cared that I made a film about you. My daughter hired you. I already know what comes next. Well, I have the $100 right here. Sorry, here you go. Woo! I don't even know why I did that. I am so... I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
You know, my wife actually owes me $20. Can I hire you to get that back for me? Here are some more tips to up your cinematography game. Don't only watch films for inspiration, go out and try to recreate some of those scenes. Doing that will show you what you need to improve at, and it's fun. Also, analyze how some of your favorite cinematographers use composition and camera movement and lighting to tell stories. Speaking of lighting, experiment with natural light, artificial light, and a combination of both to grasp their effects on your shots. Know how light behaves indoors and outdoors. Experiment with different compositions like the rule of thirds, leading lines, and symmetry to create visually appealing images. Please don't forget to really study video editing. One of the best ways to get better at editing is to first really understand the story that you or your clients are trying to tell. I have saved so many projects in the edit. This one is underrated. I mean it. Seek feedback. That's one of the reasons I like putting stuff on YouTube, so that I can improve with constructive criticism. And you really need to know how to separate constructive criticism from just someone being mean. And when it comes to feedback, try to find someone who's further ahead than you in filmmaking to look at your stuff. And while they're giving you feedback, try to just listen. That's really important. And guys, make sure to go out and shoot regularly. That's the only way you're gonna get better, is to put the work in.